Hello everyone, so this is going to be a short tutorial in Adobe Audition where I'm going to show you some basic audio editing and cleanup and also how to use the multi-track settings in Audition, do some quick editing in there and export. My fan is running pretty high on my computer, so you're going to hear that. I also don't have headphones, so please excuse the audio quality on this video. It will if I was going to, fix it up, I would edit it again after, but for our class, I'm not going to do that. Just take it as, what we do in class. This is just a backup for you to reference. The first thing we're going to do is make sure we have our audio on our computers. So I know that mine is here in my folder. The way I did that was I recorded on my phone in voice memos and then I saved it to my Dropbox from my phone. So you can see I use Dropbox on the left here. So I made a folder called Amanda Tutorial, and then the original audio I'm going to use is right here, First Av 8M4A. So I know where it is, I know what folder it is in. Adobe Audition is going to make a folder for you, but I also recommend trying to be specific about where you're saving it. You can see I have CO30601 Technical Workshop, Development Workshop 1 as T1 and Amanda Tutorial. You could do this on your desktop, in your documents, anything that you're using. Just a reminder that when you're using remote desktop, it is saving to that computer. So you're actually going to want to go into your Zorak drive and save it there. I'll show this in class. I am not able to show this from my home computer, but I will show this in class. So just remember, save to Zorak. So I'm going to start by going to File, Import File. That was a little bit fast. I'm going to slow that down. So File, Import, File. Choose the audio. First Av 8M4A, click Open. What this is going to do is this is going to create a file, sort of like a layers panel or a file organizer in this left area where it says Files. So you'll see that under that file's name, it populated First Av 8.M4A and then the duration. If I go in here and click play, I will start to hear my audio.
Dankara Samse.
What I've recorded was me reading in Croatian, something I'm trying to learn. I thought it was interesting because there's a little bit of struggle throughout it in the pronunciation, the flow of the letters, and the sentences. So I'm going to use that as sample text today and also help me find some effects and music that might help enhance the audio. So the first thing I'm going to do for basic editing is clean this audio up. I want to highlight these first few seconds of my audio where I'm not speaking, but there is background noise. So I'm going to click and drag to highlight. Then I'm going to go to Effects in the top toolbar. I'm going to choose Noise Reduction and Restoration, and then I'm going to capture a noise print. It's going to give you a pop-up that says it will be captured and loaded as a noise print for use the next time the noise reduction effect is launched. So we're basically telling the software program, this is noise, this is not audio I want to keep. So when I run noise reduction, I want you to look for audio similar to this and reduce the ambient noise in the document. Reduce this noise that I've identified. Click OK. So that's done. Now you want to hit Control A, or if you're on a Mac, Command A. So Control A is Windows. And then you're going to go back to Effects, Noise Reduction and Restoration, and hit Noise Reduction Process. This is going to bring up a effects panel. It's showing you some of the waveforms and noise, so low, high, threshold. We're going to hit Apply. And you're going to see a lot of that noise around the waveforms was already reduced. So remember this front here, completely reduced. Okay, that's all for noise reduction. at the moment. Now I'm going to hit play and take you to about 12 seconds of my audio.
Dan kada samse patvorio u titu. Povoga dana škole.
So that was some clicks and pops that we don't really need. I'm just going to give you an example further in here.
Tau.
So this sounded like a pop, but it was actually me trying to pronounce something. So I'm going to leave that in. I feel like that adds to the quality of the story. Here, however, I'm going to take that out by clicking and dragging, like I did. I'll show that again. Click on that spot just outside of where you want to eliminate the pops and breaths, and right click, and then we're going to silence. So that's right here. So right click, silence, and you'll see that that is done. If I wanted to eliminate, say, these, I could highlight it, click Control R, and then that is also silence. But I want to keep that in. Again, I want you to think this isn't about making the cleanest, most perfect audio. It's actually about, telling the story in a way. So if you're heavy breathing because it's difficult, or it's creating emotion, or your voice chokes, or you're happy and elated and you let out a sound that is joyful, and it sounds like it sounds like a quick pop or a quick, it's not perfect. That's actually important to the story. So we can hit Control Z to bring that back and leave those kinds of moments in there. That ultimately is up to you. So it's a lot cleaner than it was before. I'm just going to play a few seconds again.
Dan kada samse patvorio u titu.
One thing I'm going to do is to hit File, Save, so that I know it's all not going to be lost after even just a little bit of work, but especially as I go on in the project. So this is a first of 8 wave. I'm going to keep this how it is and I see that it's in my folder. If it's not, you can hit Browse and move it. But I'm going to, so you hit Browse and choose the folder you want it in. But I'm just going to hit OK. Oh yeah, I'm not going to overwrite it. I'm going to do, I'm going to put a space and then a 2. Maybe I'll put a V2 for myself. Okay. All right. One last thing is to normalize the audio. So this helps the audio be ultimately, it's more of like a radio production technique to make sure the audio stays level with the rest of the production out there. So it's useful if you ever want to send this out and upload it. So I'll show it. Control A, and then you're going to go to Effects, Amplitude and Compression, Normalize. And what you would normalize this to is -3 dB. So it's already that. It might be at 100, percent when you first get there. So I want you to change it to dB, and then this to -3.0. Hit Tab to get out of that, or to set it in place, and then hit Apply. Okay, so mine was a little bit quieter, and it extended those waveforms to be in line with what are the standards of radio.
Dan kada samse patvorio u titu.
Okay, so that's done. I'm going to save it again. And at this point, I'm going to go and add in another sound. So I know that I'm going to be working with 2 sounds, one of my voice and one of some music, I find. Yours could be anything. It could be your voice, another person's voice, your voice recorded several times where you're mixing it together. Sound effects, music, It's part of your creative process. So I'm going to click multi-track, and I'm going to name this Amanda Tutorial version 2. I've done a practice version, so this is the more refined one for you all. So version 2, and then reading, because that is what I'm doing. It is being saved where I want it to be. Amazing. I want this to, the sample rate to be actually 44 and bit depth 24 mono. So these are the rates that we're going to work in. And then when we import the audio, it should, from the waveform tracks, so the multi-track, it will blend together into these rates. So hit OK. So we have our multi-tracks. This cursor is going to be important. It already kind of was, but for this, wherever it is at the time when we import audio, the audio is going to set itself beginning from that cursor. So this is really our timestamp. I'm going to go back to the waveform and then hit Control A. I'll right click and insert into multi-track. When I hover over that, it shows me options, a new session or the session that I've created. I'm going to choose the one I've created and hit that. And the sample rate inserted does not match the rate of the session. Press OK to make a copy of the file, which will then be conformed to match the sample rate of the session. I want that so that my sounds are compatible, all the ones that I'm bringing in. So I'll hit OK. So you see how this came in right where the cursor is, so that's okay for your tracks. If you know you want it further in the session, then you can move the cursor there. But obviously this is our first track, so I want it in the beginning. I could go back and re-import it now after deleting this. Deleting it would be to select it and then hit delete. I'm going to hit Control Z to bring that back, or Command Z. And I'll just click and move it over.
Dankara Sensei, Pretvorio U Titu.
Okay, so now I'm going to bring my second piece of audio, show you how to cut audio, and then also change the volume and then export. So I located a piece of audio from the Internet Archive. So it's archive.org. They have a lot of information. Their goal is to kind of be this free library. And I'm going to go to audio. So I'm going to click on here, this audio icon, so the audio archive. And then I'm going to search Croatian because I'm speaking Croatian. Without digging a little bit deeper, I want some kind of Croatian music. So once I type in Croatian under the audio archive, it's going to pull up some options for me. Here I can click on a one that I choose. It's going to give you some information. So it has the title of the musical artist, the title of the album, publication date, topics, all of this. I'm going to go to the right side of that screen and choose the item file. So if I click that open, I clicked on the image. So I want to click on this download. Why isn't this one working? I think this is the one I just grabbed. Let me try this one. Sometimes they can be a little bit, not everything is going to be available to download. Okay, so that's what it is. It's not item title. You want to see MP3 sample. If you don't see MP3 sample, I'm going to go back to here to show you, then you can't use that. So look for that. We're going to go here. Oh. This is definitely the one I used. Okay. MP3 sample, and then it has this down arrow that you'll click to open. I know that I want to grab, let's say, this first one. I previewed it. You could preview it here. And then I'm going to hit download. After I get to this pop-up screen, I'm going to hit the 3 ellipses and download again. Okay, at this point I'm going to lower this. I've already downloaded my track, and it actually is a little bit different than that one. You'll see it's right here. So I'm going to go back to the Adobe Audition and do File, Import, File. I'm going to click on that sample and hit Open. So now if I click on this, I'll see the waveform for this. I'm not going to do any editing at the moment because they've produced this, and I just want to take a quick sample of the beginning. So I'm going to go back to my multi-track view up here. I am going to right-click on track 2, insert. So this is just another way to do it. My sample. I want it to conform. Now let's do a quick preview. No editing, everything mixing together. Okay, so a couple things. They're very much competing. You can't really hear the audio. It sounds like it's just mostly about the music. So what I'm gonna do is bring this volume down on the music by clicking on this yellow bar and lowering it so from 0 to, let's say, negative 3.4. Start there and just see how that mixes. It's still kind of loud, so I'm going to take it down to negative 5.7. Let's see. That's a little bit better. I don't actually want the music and the sound, the music and my audio recording mixing. I kind of just want it as an intro. So the first thing I'm going to do is zoom in to this beginning area. So I was clicking this zoom in time. You can also zoom out time. You could hit this as well to make the height wider or smaller. So if you're just working with 2 tracks, this might be nice, but I like to see the edges of the work. So the first thing I want to do is cut this audio down. This second one. I want it to end just about when my voice begins, but not right at that point. A little bit further so there's some blending of the sounds before it fades out. So I'm going to take this razor tool at the top, razor selected clips tool, click on it, and then hover over where I want to cut it, and then click. This has cut the audio in 2. Now I'll go to the move tool again, so toggle back between the tools, click on that second half, and then hit delete. So this is just one example. You can cut up audio a lot and mix it together. That is how you would do it. You could cut this up as many times as you want. And then you don't even have to delete it, you could just move it around. I'm going to keep it simple for now, keep one audio. So now we'll see that if I play it, we'll have the audio switch once the purple bar is done. Okay, so that is better because now you can hear my voice, but it's not smooth or nice. So what I'm going to do is I actually want to create a fade out, and you can do this easily by, I'm going to zoom in for this, clicking on this yellow volume. So if I click once, I actually create a key point, and then I could create a second key point and drag that down. And what this means essentially is at this point you're at -6, and at this point wherever I leave it, I could be at negative, let's see what this is, 15 on all the way to muted, which would be this bottom here. So let's try that and see how that feels.
Dankara sam
I like that better. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because it's moving quickly. But I think it's still too abrupt. So what I would do is not make that fade out quite as sharp. And maybe make it a little bit longer. I also want it to blend a little bit more. So I'm going to go to this first track. Cut this track. Oh, that might be too much. Cut it slightly. Delete and bring it in. Great. Go all the way to the top.
Dankara samse.
Okay. Something we could do if we wanted it to kind of be present throughout the whole of the work is I could right click into this space. I'm going to move my cursor as well. Insert this sample. Okay. So now I've got this sample in here again. I'm going to lower the volume to be about the same as it is here. But now I'm going to take it all the way down to that line so that we can hear what that sounds like as a fade. But without cutting it out completely, it's still present. So that's what I meant by adding it back in. Start at the beginning.
Dankara samse patvoreo u tit.
One last change is I'd probably kick it down even more. Maybe make this a smoother transition. Let's try that.
Dankara samse patvoreo u.
That's nice. So you could see that you could keep on collaging and editing this audio for essentially eternity and adding in things and playing with the volume, the fade in, the fade out. The multi-track tool is really powerful. So I'm going to, at this point, hit File, Save. So that saves my whole project folder. And now I want to go to File, Export. I want a multi-track mix down and then entire session. So that is going to mix down my track 1 and track 2 into one. So I've already set up the rate and that it is mono, and I know that it's saving to this file. So it's Amanda Tutorial V2 reading mixdown saved into this folder. So everything in my project is together. And then I wanted to make sure that this is in WAV file. So WAV, format, and click OK. Now I'm lower this, go into my file folder, and if I click WAV, which is the full titles, reading, mixdown WAV.
Dankara samse patvoreo u titu.
Okay, and then you have your WAV file.